Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club.
It's definitely not a Monty Python and the Holy Grail podcast.
Well, now I can't include all of that Monty Python talk. I can't include it.
No, you don't need to include any of it. They don't need to know.
Okay.
It's a standalone bit.
I'm Mike.
I'm not.
And let's play a theme song.
蝶になってきらめく風に乗って今すぐ君に会いに行こう余計なことなんて忘れた方がマシさこれ以上しゃれてる時間はない何がこの空に届くのだろうだけど明日の予定もわからない無限大な夢の後の何もない世の中じゃそうさ愛しい思いも負けそうになるけどステージがしないイメージだらけの頼りない翼でもきっと飛べるさ Oh my
It's this show again.
It's this show again. I'm pretty sure I would have said this last time. This is my favorite Japanese anime theme song. I love it so much.
It's no Wild Vision.
Ooh, Wild Vision is a close second for me, I think.
Disappointing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe if you heard the full version of this, you'd understand.
I don't know. I didn't feel fueled to fight.
When you get to like the final chorus on the full version of this, it's so pumped. Such a good song.
Maybe, but like the whole time I'm like, I wish this was Braveheart.
You like Braveheart more?
I love Braveheart.
I like this more than Braveheart, personally. Braveheart's good, and I will absolutely show you my Braveheart in a second if you ask me to.
I will not, sir.
But, I don't know, Butterfly just really gets me. Really gets me in my feels. The lyrics are so good for, like, what this show is about. I probably talked about this last time as well, but the lyrics are about being worried that you're not, like, raising a child properly. It's like trying your best and, like, not being sure whether you're doing it right, but hoping that love will get you through anyway.
Hoping that your Digimon doesn't turn into a turd.
Yeah, hoping that you don't get Skull Greymon. That is an episode. We'll get to it someday.
40 years down the line.
This is episode 2, which in Japanese is called Explosive Evolution, Greymon!
Whoa!
It's written by Satoru Nishizono, who also wrote the last episode and came up with the general concept of the series. And it aired on Fuji TV on March 14th, 1999.
So old.
I know. This is like peak nostalgia period for me.
Yeah, I know about you and your Digimon.
No, I'm not even just talking about Digimon. I'm talking about like the technology in general. Like this is like my formative period of tech. You know, like early cell phones, web rings,
beepers.
I never had a beeper.
Fax machines.
Never had a fax machine.
That newfangled computer device.
Yeah, I had that though. Encarta CDs.
Oh, I forgot all about those.
Dial-up modem. Digimon, I guess.
AIM Messenger.
I never had a Digimon though. Not back then. I had a Dinky Dino.
Oh, we talked about that last time.
Well, we can't just reiterate. Let's just move on to the episode, I guess.
We'll just rehash the first episode and then we'll get into episode 2.
Well, this episode opens exactly where episode 1 ended.
Falling to their deaths.
Yeah, with our characters in midair dropping from a cliff. And various Digimon try different things to try and save their partners, but ultimately they all fail.
I do love how Plantmon, I don't remember its real name.
Palmon.
Palmon grabs the one part of the cliff that just completely detaches and falls with them.
I think whatever part of the cliff they grabbed would have detached.
Still, it's a big chunk of cliff.
She's the only one that doesn't have wings who tries anything. Like, because 3 of them have wings. They try to grab the kids, but they're not strong enough to carry them, so they fall. But Palmon, like, none of the others who don't have wings try to do anything, except Gomamon, who's the one who saves them all.
I was gonna say.
He's the one who does something that works.
It felt cruel that she reaches up with a vine and it's like, oh, we're actually just gonna collapse the whole mountain for you.
Listen, Palmon, it's not in the script that you get out of this.
You have to suffer with the rest of them.
But no, Gomamon uses his special attack, marching fishes, to catch them with a raft of fishes.
So if he's nowhere near water, is he useless?
No, I think fish just like appear. I think wherever he is, when he shouts marching fishes, there are going to be fish in some manner. But I think they also avoid having him fight on land too often.
Yeah.
I feel like we never really get a good look at the fishes in the show.
They made me think of Tatsugiri.
They come in 5 distinct colors, and I'm really sad that we don't really ever get a focus on them, because I actually found some concept art for them, and I love them. I'm sending it to you right now.
They're pretty cool.
They've all got like such distinct personality, which they never get to show.
Fish with personality.
Look at that pink one winking at us.
It looks like a cross between a Jigglypuff and a Lomomola and that nose thing.
Nose thing?
Spritzy, is that the baby form?
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay. The perfume one.
Yeah.
With like the Plague Doctor mask looking face.
Yeah, the nose.
Yeah, I gotcha. Like, each one of them is really distinct. There's a lot of personality in all 5 of them. And they're not all cute. Like, the blue one is like mean and tough. And I love him.
He's got a scary man face. He looks like a shonen protagonist.
No, he looks like the guy who trains the shonen protagonist.
The rival of the shonen protagonist. You're gonna have to get stronger if you want to beat me.
He's pretty good. I like all of them. They've never... Like, I don't think there's any point in the show where you really get a good look at them like this. But I did find a trading card that has them prominently displayed, so...
A trading card?
Yeah, one for the trading card game.
Did the trading card game ever do anything? Was that big?
I think it was big in Japan, maybe. I mean, it's back. They've started like releasing them in English again now, and I keep being tempted to get them.
Who are you gonna play with?
Exactly. That's the problem. But every time I see them in like a comic book store or something, I'm like, oh man, a Digimon set? Tempting. Here's the card I found. Looks like the fishes have been redesigned a little bit to be cuter, but I kind of prefer those old ones.
I prefer some of the old ones.
Yeah.
I kind of like that the blue one just kind of looks like a little shark now. But like I don't like the fiery one in the new one.
No, they've made him more generic cute. He's got more personality in the old one, I think.
The yellow and the green one look a little too similar.
I'll post these in the in the Discord when this episode comes out, but if you're listening to this and you want to look at these, just Google marching fishes and they'll come up. You'll see them. We need to get better about like conveying visual stuff in our audio podcast.
There's just no easy means of doing that.
No, it's difficult.
We don't even have an easy means of getting people into the Discord.
I know. I know. That's things we'll figure out eventually, I'm sure.
Year 5, definitely. We'll have all the kinks ironed out.
So they're all in the river on a bed of fishes. They seem to be safe. But then Kuagumon falls in after them. He's just up there collapsing.
Yeah, he didn't have a reason. He just felt left out.
I mean, I guess he was pretty injured. He was on fire last time we saw him.
Listen, whatever. Just a little bit on fire. He's not on fire anymore.
He hits the water and causes a surge in the river, which washes them further downstream. And they end up on the banks of the river, where the Digimon formally introduced their new forms and the concept of evolution. I did like that Koshiro, or Izzy, as he's known in English, actually comments on how this isn't really how evolution works. Oh, also, I have to correct something that we said last time.
Yes.
I had said that Agumon is played by Tom Fan, which is true, but not for these first 2 episodes. I was watching the English version of this one, and I thought, Agumon sounds really weird here. Did it just take the actor a while to get into the role? But it turns out it's because for these first 2 episodes, he's actually played by Michael Lindsay, who plays Joe normally. And then Tom Fan takes over from the episode after this one onwards. So sorry about getting that wrong. I'm dumb.
It's true. I've seen it.
In Japanese, there are no changes to the Digimon voices in this form. They're all still using the same actors that the baby forms used. And that continues. I don't think any of them change voice actor when they evolve at any point, which I prefer. It gives a sense of continuity to their personalities, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you see Koromon and you see Greymon, it's hard to look at those two and think, this is the same guy with the same personality. You know, one's a little pink ball with teeth and the other one's a giant orange dragon with a helmet on. Or dinosaur, I guess, not dragon.
Same thing.
But when they have the same voice, it's easier to be like, okay, it's the same guy. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
In English, most of these ones are actually using the same voices that their baby forms used at the moment. The only ones who've changed to new actors are Agumon and Tentomon, but we talked about both of those last time anyway, so...
Good.
Yeah, the Digimon explained that they hadn't been able to evolve until now. And they say it's because of the kids being here. And they're not sure if they can turn back or not. This is all new to them as well.
Yeah, how are there all these adult Digimon out there if they don't have little children companions?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I think there's something specifically important about these Digimon in particular.
Okay.
But I don't think they ever do explain how it's possible. Like, if every Digimon needs a child companion in order to grow, where did all these other ones come from?
The last batch of washed up elementary school kids that got Jumanji'd.
Most of what we're seeing in this show can grow from the same Digimon that, like, we've already seen. This set of babies that the kids have, basically every Digimon in the show can evolve from one of those babies. Near enough, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So they've all must have been those little babbies at some point.
Yeah?
So Joe wants to go back to where they were on the top of the cliff. Somehow.
Right, which is pointed out to be ridiculous.
Yeah. He wants to go up there and wait for the adults to find them. I don't know how he would do that.
I don't know. None of these Digimon can even fly.
3 of them can, but only on their own. And even then, not
just
that well.
Barely.
Tentomon seems to be the best at it.
And he's a bug.
Leave him alone. Yamato, or Matt, as he's known in English, doesn't recognize the area. Koshiro points out that all the plants look subtropical and not Japanese. I really like... So when he says that, Tentamon agrees with him, and then Koshiro is surprised that Tentamon knows what he's talking about, and Tentamon's just like, actually, I don't.
I'm just agreeing with you.
I thought it was really cute. He's just trying really hard to, like, fit in with his new partner. I love Tentamon.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why do most of these children wear gloves?
Because the character designer, I guess, likes to draw gloves.
Because it's August when this happens, right?
Yeah.
Who's wearing gloves in August?
It's just a design choice. They've all got kind of odd outfits, so if you look too closely. Why is TK wearing a funny helmet? Wait, Sora's wearing a helmet too.
I did notice that, but I'm willing to let it slide. It's the gloves, though.
What about the goggles? What about Ty's goggles?
It's a little weird, but I feel like there's one kid that would wear goggles to summer camp.
I would have been that one kid who wore goggles every day if I could have pulled it off.
Yeah, I know you would have.
It's so cool. Just having goggles.
It's not, though.
And not
it's
even
not.
not even pulling them down, just wearing them on your forehead. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's the coolest
it's not.
thing. It's so cool.
It's one of those things that works in, fantasy, but when you actually do it in real life, you just look like a big dingus.
But Mel, I am a big dingus.
You're a big dingus who cosplays steampunk?
No, not steampunk. These are 90s fashion goggles.
90s fashion goggles.
These are vaporwave goggles.
Don't do that.
Oh, am I making you want some?
No, not even a little bit close. There's nothing aesthetic about goggles.
I disagree. You should play Grandia. Grandia and Digimon both came out around the same time, and really just sold me on casual goggles.
I keep forgetting to check if I have Grandia.
I feel like I maybe bought it for you, or did you buy it for me?
I think I bought you the second one. Because I don't think it's... You know what? I've got a Steam Deck right here. Where's my library? We're going to solve this once and for all. I'm pretty sure I do not own Grandia. Because you keep insisting that you bought it for me. I'm like, I don't know.
It maybe it's one of those ones where it's like, I keep wanting to buy it for you, but it's a case of like, I want to buy this for Mel because I love it. And
right.
Maybe it's better if I buy something that I think that I'm more certain that Mel will love.
I have that problem constantly. I look through your wish list, I'm like, oh, that looks fun. That'll be fun. But I'm like, that's what I want to play. I need to get into something he wants to play.
Well, if it's on my wish list...
Oh, yeah, but there's still things that would be better choices in a wish list.
Well...
I put crap on my wish list just because I want to, like, see where it goes. Or, like, remind myself of it someday and be like, do I still want this?
You can buy me stuff you think you'd like, and then I'll be like, wow, I'm really enjoying this game you'd like. So glad that you bought it for me and not you.
Yeah. And then I'll just look on with envy, seething. Like, yeah, I've wanted that game for a long time. This thing is taking forever to boot up.
I could actually just look it up. I could just go to Grandia on my thing and see if you have it. No, you don't.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. No, you do. You just haven't played it.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe I did buy it for you at some point.
That does sound like something you would do.
Yeah. I remember you got me Grandia 2 because Grandia 1 wasn't out yet at the time. And I think you maybe got me Grandia 1 eventually as well, but I'm not sure. Maybe I got that. Maybe I was desperate enough to get that myself. Tai asks Agumon if there are any other humans around, but Agumon says he's never seen one before.
Well, they're babies. What do they know?
I know, right? They've just been, like, living in the bushes, hiding from Kuagumon.
At has little poots.
So Tai just kind of cheerfully sets off in a direction.
This whole time I was watching it, I was like, I 100% know that Mike put himself on this little boy when he was a little boy.
What do you
This is
mean?
Mike's self-insert character.
Or you think I like emailed the creators and told them to put me in?
No, but I can tell that that's who you identify with.
You just knew it.
Yep.
I was gonna
You
say
smell
it.
it on the wind.
Listen, I was gonna say it, but I'm glad that you said it first. I love Tai. Tai is one of my favorite characters in anything because Tai is so much like I was at that age. And one of the reasons that I could not get into Digimon Adventure Tri, which is set around the end of high school, is because Tai is exactly like I was at that age, but I was less happy at that age. So I watched this show and I'm like, oh, he's exactly like I was back then. And then I watched the teenage version. I'm like, oh, he's exactly like I was.
The fun is gone.
I'm like, I'm not so happy about it now. I mean, it is. I don't know. I kind of like it. It's nice that even as he's aged, I look at him and I'm like, it almost is like they just put me in here and made me a Japanese boy. But at the same time,
It's not a good thing when he gets older.
yeah, when the cracks start to appear.
Right. Ugh, I wouldn't want a teenage me in there either. That'd be a depressing show.
The other kids ask him where he's going, and he's like, well, when we were up there, I saw the ocean, so I want to go look at the ocean. This is basically like how I made friends when I was when I was like 12.
You lured them to the ocean?
No, I was basically just like, well, I'm going to do a thing. And then other people would just be like, okay, I guess I'll come.
Okay, strange boy, take me on your adventures.
I was thinking about how Mum used to take me to this. It's like an old castle ruin in our hometown. It's like on the top of a hill. It's really sunny and nice. It's a big open area, so people go there often for picnics and like to fly kites and stuff. And Mum used to take me there just to hang out. And like when there are other families having picnics, I used to just kind of wander up to their picnics and ask for food.
What a weirdo!
And they would give it to me because I was like a nice little boy. Mum used to get really embarrassed because she used to think it made people think that like I wasn't getting fed.
Right. Like she's a bad mother.
But actually I was just walking up and I was like, oh man, they got pork pies. Hey, can I have a pork pie?
No boundaries at all.
And that's the kind of thing I see here in Thai. That's the kind of stuff I recognize.
In case you were wondering, I do have Grandia.
I already told you did.
I know, but I finally got my Steam Deck to turn on, and I was like, well, now I have to locate it in my library and make double sure.
Okay, now we've got 2 confirmations.
We need a third, just to be safe.
Yeah, so Joe is saying that he's still going to stay put and wait, but then Gomamon is like, hey, Joe, everybody's gone. So he goes with him as well. And as they walk, some of the Digimon show off their skills to their new partners. But they're not super impressive.
Tentamon can zap.
He can zap. That was probably the most impressive of all of them.
Yeah.
Because everybody else, like Patamon and Biomon, are both like, hey, look, I can fly, but they can't fly as fast as they can walk.
No.
So they just kind of get left behind. And Palmon, I really enjoyed the Palmon and Mimi photosynthesis conversation.
No one knows what it means.
Palmon tells Mimi that she can perform photosynthesis, and then Mimi's like, oh, cool, do it. And Palmon's like, you don't know what it means, do you?
But, like, my question is, if Palmon doesn't know what it is, how does she know she can do it?
She's probably just been told.
By whom? There are no humans.
That's true. There are some wise Digimon around, but I don't know. We never really find out much about what these Digimon were doing. Because, importantly, when the kids met them, they were not in their first forms. They had evolved once.
Oh, right, because there's like a poot form.
Yeah, there's a super babby form that we didn't see. So they were already in their baby 2 forms. So they had evolved once since hatching. They just hadn't been able to evolve to child form.
Right. Can you imagine being stuck as a baby until you find a partner child to raise you?
I think that's what Rugrats is about, isn't it?
I guess.
So they reach the ocean and they hear a phone ringing. And there's just a row of phone booths oddly lined up on the beach.
Very strange.
Yeah. So this is probably Naked Beach, which is a place from the game. Naked Beach was an area of tropical jungle in Digimon World.
Do you get naked there?
No, because they're children.
Yeah, I would prefer they didn't.
But
it's just the name is a bit.
The beach gets naked, I think.
Oh.
So the phone stops ringing before Tai gets to it. So he asks Koshiro for some change so he can call home, and Koshiro hands him his phone card. We talked a little bit in the first episode about how in the Japanese version it's established that Tai and Koshiro have been best friends for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of stepped on that in the English version by having Tai and Izzy be strangers.
Yeah.
I feel like in the first episode, although they are together a little bit, it's not super clear how close they are, but they feel closer in this episode. I don't know if you picked up on it too.
Not really.
Like Tai and Izzy or Tai and Koshiro, they're usually together in this episode. And like when Tai wants change to call home, he immediately turns to Koshiro because it's his best friend.
Oh, I thought maybe he was just kind and the closest one there. But I guess that makes sense.
I think Sora was a little bit closer, but I'm not sure. Hard to tell. And also, like later on, when they're gossiping about TK and Matt, it's the two of them doing it in the background.
Oh yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. It will become more clear later, like especially the episodes where they end up back in Tokyo. It's very clear from the way it's very clear from the way Taichi's parents talk to Koshiro that like this is a kid who's over all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Taichi's mom knows Koshiro quite well. Everyone else goes to phones to try them. I'm assuming that Koshiro, like since he's given his phone card to Taichi, I'm assuming he's using actual money.
Right.
I thought that was funny. He's like, "Oh, you can use my phone card," and then he just runs off and makes a call on his own.
Right. Anyway, I'm gonna go run over here and make a phone call real quick.
That everybody just gets nonsensical service messages.
Is this explained at any point, or is it just a mysterious happening?
Basically, like the whole first 13 episodes of the show are exploring this island and like trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So these phone booths aren't just a one-off thing that will be forgotten about. There's more. There's more to it.
I just want to make sure there's some kind of resolution at some point.
You just want to know whether this was just lol random comedy or not.
Not random comedy, but like random mystery, like Lost.
No, it's not like Lost. I mean, I feel like
there's no four-toed foot.
I feel like we are kind of going into this already knowing what the mystery, because the mystery is that they're not in a real place.
Right.
The mystery is
they're in the digital world.
Yeah, the mystery is that they're inside a computer right now. So a lot of the nonsensical things they're coming across are junk data, basically.
Okay. It's just a bug.
Yeah, it's just like bugs, or it's little random bits of code that are left over that are manifesting in weird ways. And it will be explained.
Okay.
So don't worry about it.
Phew!
And it will be explained sooner rather than later. Like, this is like a 50-something episode series, and it will be explained within like the first 10 episodes. So.
Okay.
So Joe keeps trying over and over while everybody else just relaxes on the beach for a bit and talks about what to do next. Tai is ready to go. He just wants to up and leave. But Matt thinks they should stay and wait in case one of the phones rings again.
And also everybody's tired and hungry.
Everyone is tired and hungry, yeah. We're seeing the beginnings of what will be the main group dynamic between Tai and Matt, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They constantly, throughout the whole show, they will be disagreeing about what the best course of action is.
So it's like yours and my friendship.
Not quite. Man, what is our friendship like of this group?
I don't know.
I feel like you and I tend to be more united than Tai and Matt are. We tend to agree most of the time. But we fight anyway.
That's for fun.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly find myself represented among any of these children.
No, I don't really think you are. I don't feel like any of these kids are too much like you.
It's pretty rude of them, to be honest.
Yeah, they didn't think about you, did they? Specifically.
No, specifically me on the other side of the world.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's maybe a character in a later Digimon show who's a bit more like you, but still not quite. They never quite get Mel right in this show.
That's my biggest complaint with Digimon.
There's got to be a ton of people who look at these kids and don't feel represented by any of them.
Well, sure. I don't think it's a problem unique to me.
No, but it's funny because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
There's 7 of them. And there's an 8th one who shows up later as well, so.
As we all know, there are 8 child archetypes.
There are 8 kinds of child in the world.
Flavors of child.
But if you're a girl, there's only 3.
Oh.
The rest are boys. So the kids suddenly remember the Digivices they got. They had forgotten about them, I guess.
I know I did.
And they all go over what they have with them. So, Sora has a first aid kit.
And some thread.
I forgot about that. Koshiro has his laptop, a digital camera, and a cell phone. I don't remember if the digital camera ever comes up, but the other 2 will be quite important over the course of the show. But they're not working right now. Tai has his telescope, which we saw him use in the first episode. And TK, or Takeru, has a backpack full of candy.
Yeah, he's the smart one.
He is. This is where Mimi seems to notice Takeru for the first time.
He's just been so small and unassuming.
She realizes that he doesn't go to their school, and he explains that he's there visiting his Oni-chan for the summer. And this is where Taichi and Koshiro have a little aside trying to figure out who TK is. Because they've known Matt for a while, but they don't know him to have a brother, and this kid has a different family name, but he's calling Matt Oni-chan, which is, for anybody who doesn't know, is a Japanese honorific meaning brother, basically. Does it specifically mean big brother, or does it not matter?
It does refer to an older brother.
Right, okay.
But as mentioned in the translator's notes, it can also be a term referring to any older male that you look up to.
Like, for example, in the Japanese version, I believe Mido in Ocarina of Time refers to Link as Oni-chan when it's adult Link. Not when it's young Link.
Mm-hmm.
But when you meet him again as adult Link and he doesn't recognize you, he calls you Oni-chan, I'm pretty sure.
When you're young Link, he's just like, hey, you little shit.
Yeah, he hates you when you're young Link.
Where's your fairy, you little shit?
He respects you when you're an adult. And he doesn't remember who you are. So yeah, they assume that Matt and Takeru must be cousins. That's their best guess right now as to who this child is.
It couldn't mean anything else.
Well, it would be confusing, if you don't.
Yeah, I know.
If you've known this guy for a while and he's never mentioned having a brother, he's been in your class for I think he's been in Ty's class for a couple years at this point. He's never mentioned having a brother, and this kid with a different last name shows up. Then you're like, well, they look pretty similar, but... And he calls him Oni-chan. But I don't know. There's no real... I was trying to think, like, what's the English equivalent to Oni-chan that they could have translated it as? Maybe bro? You could call someone bro and not actually be... He could have been like, he's my bro.
Yeah, I think that is what some people tend to go with nowadays, because there is no real one-to-one translation of that.
But that's...
Especially since bro is, like, fairly recent slang.
Yeah. That it might be the best. It's the best I can think of for, like, as close to one-to-one as you can get. So Mimi opens up her giant bag, and it's full of wilderness survival tools.
I mean, I guess they are at summer camp.
She's got solid fuel, a Swiss Army knife, a compass, a flashlight, cutlery.
So she can kill, gut, and eat any Digimon she wants.
So everyone is surprised. She says that she hadn't been camping in a long time, so she swiped all her dad's camping gear. I like this. I like that she's the ditziest member of the gang, and she's got she's the most prepared for the wilderness.
Right. Ty just brought a telescope. What a loser.
Ty looks over at Joe, sees that he's still making phone calls, but notices that he's carrying the camp's emergency food supply. He's apparently been trying to hand it off to Mimi all day because it's her turn to carry it.
But she doesn't want to because it's too heavy.
I feel it. He doesn't want to either.
Right.
If you can get someone else to carry something, you should always do it.
Yeah.
It's just intelligent.
Rude, but intelligent.
So the kids work out that they have 2.5 days worth of food if they ration it out, not including the Digimon, who say they're happy foraging. I wish they were happy foraging in the game.
They will scream and scream and scream until you feed them.
No, they'll just die. That's... So much of my time in Digimon World was spent, like, the little food icon appears above my Digimon, and I'm like, oh god, I'm out of meat. I've already had my daily meat allowance. What am I going to do?
Daily meat allowance.
Yeah, there's a guy in town who'll give you some meat every day, but once your Digimon reaches a certain age, that's not enough anymore.
Then what do you do?
I don't remember. I feel like I just always lost the game at that point. I think what it is that you have to upgrade the meat farm, because the meat grows out of the ground in Digimon World.
Okay.
It's a farm where they grow meat out of the ground and the Digimon eat it.
Cool.
I think what it is that you need to upgrade the meat farm so it makes bigger meat, but I just never managed to upgrade it quick enough before my Digimon start dying from not having enough meat.
You have to upgrade it every time?
No. You only have to do it once. I just never got that far. I wasn't very good at it now.
Okay.
I should probably go back to it now. I feel like I'd probably have an easier time with it now if I played it again.
Yeah.
I'm better at video games than I was back then.
Remains to be seen.
No, I keep going back to stuff that I couldn't beat as an adult. Fuck. I keep going back to stuff I couldn't beat as a child and being like, oh my god, this was easy. I was the dumbest child.
Yeah, but then there's also things like Mickey Mania where you're like, no, I was a perfectly justified child. This is bullshit.
I felt that way about the Toy Story Mega Drive game, but I finally beat it last year. And I was like, that was easy. I was so dumb as a child.
I don't know. Have you tried Mickey Mania recently?
No, I haven't. I should. I'd never beaten that either.
I don't think I did either.
What's the furthest you got that you remember?
I can't remember if I got there with cheats because we had a game genie.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, so like I remember like the castle levels.
Okay.
But I think the farthest I got on foot might be the moose hunting. Is that before or after the ghost house barrel horrible room?
The ghost house is after the moose hunting because I've never been to the ghost house because I always died on the moose hunter level.
I've been to the ghost house. I hate the ghost house.
I always used to run out of lives specifically at the moose chase.
Yeah.
I was so bad at that. But it took me forever just to get out of the Mad Doctor. The Mad Doctor was really difficult.
Yes, it
And
was.
such a long stage with so many different like sections to it.
Yeah.
But I love it though.
I haven't played it since probably the 90s, and it still haunts me.
The Mad Doctor was my favorite stage. It just, it's full of skeletons, it's spooky, the music's good.
I think mine is probably the ghost house, despite it being absolute bullshit.
I've never been there. I do love that cartoon though, Lonesome Ghosts.
That's what it was called.
It's a good cartoon. Mad Doctor and Lonesome Ghosts are actually my two favorite Mickey Mouse cartoons. And it's probably because they're both spooky.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Anyway.
This is where, despite the Digimon saying they're happy to forage for food, Taichi is feeding Agumon.
Yeah, that's right. And then Joe yells at him for it, and Taichi's just like, man, chill out.
But he's hungry!
And this is another point where I'm like, yeah, that's what I would have done. The thing is, I don't get the impression that Taichi... I get the impression that Taichi is just sharing his rations with Agumon. I don't think he's giving, like, other people's food to him.
No.
At which point, I'm like, that's his decision.
Let him starve.
Yeah, if he wants to... If he's been given a ration and he's choosing to share it with his Digimon, I feel like that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But then Gomamon notices something in the water. He hears something. And then water just kind of starts erupting from the ground, destroying all the phone booths.
No, not the phone booths!
It's Shellmon is here.
It's wet. It's the dinosaur, but he's wet now.
It's like a hermit crab dinosaur.
Yeah.
Shellmon was in the version 3. So Shellmon evolved from the one that Takeru has. You know, the little pink one with the crazy teeth?
Yeah.
That one could eventually evolve into Shellmon, but if it became Patamon, which TK's has become at this point, then it couldn't. It had to have become the other thing, which was a caterpillar called Kunamon.
Catamon?
Patamon and Catamon. That's what they should have called him. So yeah, Shellmon is played by Yasuhiko Kawazu, who was mostly doing small roles at this point, but eventually he became the voice of Mr. Popo in Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like he started playing Mr. Popo in Dragon Ball Kai and has continued since. He was also the voice of Brocken Jr. in Kinnikuman, and he plays Huangzong and Zhang Jiao in Dynasty Warriors. I'm not very good at pronouncing Chinese names, so I'm sorry if I was wrong about those.
No, Chinese names baffle me so much.
They don't romanize them in a way that makes sense to me.
Exactly, yes.
Like, I feel like there are better ways to romanize them than what they do. Shellmon doesn't have a voice in the English version.
Just grunts and roars.
Not even that much, I don't think. Just like sound effects, if that.
Oh. Weird.
Yeah, poor guy. But, he's not very important. It's not like he says any words in the Japanese version, even.
Excuse me, he says shell.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Shellmon. I did you dirty there. The Digimon all run to fight Shellmon, but everyone's attacks are fizzling out except for Agumon. He's the only one spitting hot fire.
Because he had that delicious graham cracker.
I was gonna say, you're just eating crackers.
Listen, how many times have I subsisted entirely on goldfish crackers?
That's true.
It's a legitimate strategy.
That is the reason. The kids ask what's up with their Digimon, and they explain that they're all weak from hunger, Agumon's the only one who's eaten, so he's the only one who can fight. And I love that Tai is just in there. He grabs a piece of one of the broken phone booths and he just runs in
what
there.
does he think he's gonna do against a giant wet dinosaur with a shell?
he gives it his best.
He gives it a whack.
But then he gets grabbed by one of their hair tentacles.
Ooh.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me that those were tentacles until it picked him up.
Right, until it moved of its own volition.
Until it was prehensile. Agumon gets stepped on, so they're both kind of trapped. And as they call out for each other, Tai's Digivice starts to glow. And now
And Braveheart starts to play.
It's time to show me your brave heart. Can I see it?
Neither of us are in danger. I don't feel like digivolving right
You
now.
won't show me it. Are you my Digimon? Wait, maybe one of the Digimon represents you. You might be Palmon, actually.
The plant.
Yeah, Palmon's
but
great.
doesn't she turn into the punching cactus?
She does turn into the punching cactus. And you want to know what she turns into after that?
Yeah.
Let me show you a picture. I'm starting to think, Mel. I'm starting to think this might be you.
She's pretty magical.
It's a plant that turns into a punching cactus that turns into a magical girl. I think that's what it is. I think Palmon is is the one you're going to relate to.
So you're my partner child that helped me evolve out of babyhood?
You know what? As I've been watching the show again as an adult, I never really cared for Palmon very much. But watching it again, Palmon might actually be my favorite now that I'm grown up.
After watching 2 episodes?
No, like I've watched through the whole show again as an adult.
Oh, okay.
That's how I saw the Japanese version as an adult, because I saw it in English originally.
Oh.
And that I feel like that's how it goes, because in this show as well, the kids aren't necessarily super into their Digimon in the beginning. Like, there are some episodes about how some of them don't feel like they're getting along with their Digimon, and like they're like, oh, why is this the Digimon I got? But like by the end, they grow to love them. And I'm saying, I didn't like you.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like you're saying.
It's not what I mean. No, I was applying that to Palmon, not you. Because I didn't like Palmon at first, but like over time, she might be my favorite.
I'm unconvinced. I think you hate me still to this day.
Oh, come on. I know I haven't managed to get you to evolve yet, but I'm trying my best.
It's because I'm too hungry. I can't fight.
I keep telling you, I need you to fight so we can upgrade the farm.
I want more goldfish crackers.
They don't have a farm for that.
It's the only food I'll eat. If you can't feed me, I'm gonna die.
Oh no, this bit's too much.
This is true, though.
I know. I know. That's the problem. Anyway, let's talk about the show some more.
Let's talk about this big dinosaur.
Yeah. They did use Braveheart in the first episode, but it didn't really... The way they used it wasn't so great because all the Digimon were evolving at once.
Right.
But this time only one of them's evolving, so the song has the space to like play out properly. Because the intro to Braveheart is timed to the animation for like evolution starting. And it's set up so that once the evolution is done, that's when the lyrics come in. really like it. It's really good.
It's pretty good.
Agumon is Greymon now. In Japanese, that means Chika Sakamoto is still playing Greymon, just as she played Koromon and Agumon. But now, Michael Lindsay is playing Greymon. Michael Lindsay is playing Agumon in this episode, but in the next episode, he will be replaced as Agumon, but he will continue to play Greymon for the duration of the series.
So weird.
I don't know why he was replaced as Agumon. I do think the second Agumon voice is better. I think maybe he just wasn't so good at doing a high-pitched voice. There are a few times in this episode where it does, in the English version, it does feel like he's struggling to like maintain the high voice for Agumon. So maybe they had someone else who was better at doing that higher voice, and they were like, yeah, you just do the Agumon parts.
Right, you're gonna hurt yourself if you keep this up.
Yeah. So he just continues to play Greymon from then on. So Greymon and Shellmon have a fight. I've written Hellmon in my notes here.
Close enough.
It's not that eventful.
No, Greymon wins.
It's pretty much just like, oh, Greymon is here now. Bye, Shellmon. Pretty much just immediately, right?
Yeah.
He uses his new attack, which is Mega Flame, replacing Baby Flame, which Agumon was using. But then, so he just tosses Shellmon high into the sky and then hits him with a giant fireball, knocks him into the ocean.
Yeah.
And then he just turns straight back into Agumon.
He's still hungry. He only had one cracker.
He is still hungry. I think it is like established that the more they evolve into their bigger forms, the longer they're able to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
So he really only maintained it for like a minute here, and then he immediately collapsed.
It was his first time.
It was his first time. Also establishing that they can revert to previous forms.
Right.
Which they can't in the game.
Can't wind up with a little poot on your hands.
You can, but not for too long. I mean, eventually they die and revert to eggs. Or, you know, they die, but they don't die. Their data gets reconfigured back into an egg, and they keep, I think, like 10% of their stats into their new life. Actually, I think in later games they did introduce an item that can revert them in case you got something you didn't want and you want to try again. But for the most part, when they evolve, that's what they are now. You know, in a way, I'm surprised that they went with Greymon for Agumon's evolved form. I didn't think anything of it at the time, because this was basically my gateway into Digimon.
Mm-hmm.
So I always thought of Greymon as just the default, this is what Agumon becomes.
Right.
But there's another one that Agumon could become in the original VPET called Tyrannomon, who was apparently the first Digimon they ever created. So I'm kind of surprised that he's not what they went with. Let me show you a picture of him. I like him.
Yeah, he's fine.
In a way, he like looks more like Agumon.
Yeah.
But Greymon retains Agumon's color scheme, so I wonder if they were just kind of like, maybe they weighed them up and they were like, this one looks more like him in the face, but the other one has the same colors, and we want to maintain color consistency.
Maybe.
I could see that.
Maybe they just wanted to sell toys, and they thought Greymon looked cooler.
Do you think he does, though? I don't think he does.
I don't know.
I like this red one with the crazy green stripes.
He's got a little bit of a dopey baby face.
He does, but so does Agumon.
Yeah, but Greymon is the cool one that all the cool kids want.
Wait, here's the equivalent artwork of Greymon.
It looks like they tried to make him look a little cooler.
Yeah.
Look, he's growling, he's spitting, he's trying to stomp on me.
Oh, cool. My Digimon's trying to stomp on me.
I haven't earned the respect of Greymon, and now he's chomping on me. Digimon is great.
Wait, here we go. I found artwork of Tyrannomon from the anime. It's barely in the anime, but apparently there's official
But
artwork
he made
of
it.
So there he is. It really,
Yeah, I don't know.
it does kind of just look like a bigger Agumon, doesn't it?
Yeah,
With more details.
just a big dopey dope.
But Agumon kind of is a dopey dope.
I'm not saying he's not.
He might be the dopiest of the 7.
Are you weighing up the dopiness of the Digimon?
I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. Because every one of the Digimon has a personality that contrasts in some way against their child, right?
Right.
So with Tai, his thing is, he's the leader. He's the one who just kind of like confidently goes ahead with everything. So to contrast with that, Agumon he's kind of a follower. He doesn't really have any strong drive. He's just happy to like go with the flow. And that's why their dynamic works, and it's also why it contrasts at some points.
Mm-hmm.
So him just still being dopey when he gets bigger would make sense to me. But anyway, yeah, it's just because Tyrannomon was the first one they created where I feel like they would want it to be more prominent than it is.
Right.
And there's a lot of, whenever they do like anniversary artworks and stuff, they tend to include Tyrannomon on them. But otherwise, they really don't make a big deal out of him. But I guess it's the same with Pokemon. Do you know what the first Pokemon they created was?
I always forget. Is it Rhydon?
It's Rhydon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhydon.
Yeah, I was
Wild.
just going to say, they don't do shit with Rhydon.
No, they don't give a shit about Rhydon. It's the first one they came up with. So I guess they show Tyrannomon more love than Game Freak show to Rhydon.
They gave Rhydon a rock ground typing.
I know.
They hate Rhydon.
They give a lot more love to... I believe the second one they created was Gengar, who gets a lot more love. Or it might have been Clefairy, but I think it was Gengar.
Gengar's great.
And Gengar gets a lot more love because I believe Gengar is Ken Sugimori's favorite Pokemon. So he gets all of it. He gets everything.
He deserves it.
Now that the danger has passed, Joe returns to trying to make a call from the very broken
What
phone
is
booth.
wrong with this boy? Why is he so obsessed with these telephones?
He's persistent.
It's clearly not going to work. It didn't work the first time.
So there's a whole thing with Joe, which will be touched on later. The reason that Joe is so uptight and worried, he's the most worried of all of them.
Yes.
And I think you know enough about Japanese culture to understand implicitly what this means. But Joe is the senpai of the group.
Oh, okay.
And he is really taking that to heart, and it's something that gets explored more as it goes on.
Gotcha.
So, like, the distribution of these kids, I believe they're all in middle school. Tai, Matt, and Sora are all in one class. Mimi and Koshiro are in the class below them. And Joe is in the class above them. So he's the oldest one, and he feels like he needs to take responsibility.
Gotcha.
But nobody else cares.
Because they're all children?
Yeah. I think they are picking up on the fact that he's trying to take responsibility for them, which is why none of them are like... They're all being very patient, I guess, with it.
Yeah.
They're not looking to him the way that he feels like they are. And that's something that's addressed in later episodes. Basically, what we're going through now, what we're going through for the next 7 episodes is that each character gets an episode where we explore them a little bit more.
I had a feeling with the preview for the next episode.
Yeah, this was Tai's episode. The next episode is Yamato's episode. And it basically just works through each of them. With the phone booths gone, Matt no longer sees any reason for them to stay here. So they end up feeding the Digimon all the rations. I guess they're kind of like, well, if this is going to keep us safe, then they can eat them.
Right. These are the ones that can breathe fire, so maybe they should get some of the food.
Yeah. And then they decide they should leave before Shelmon returns. And Koshiro reasons that if there were phone booths, there must be people who put the phone booths there. So they head out to search for the people.
Little do they know.
Little do they know. It was all just garbage code.
It was just phone booths.
I liked this episode better than the first one.
Yeah.
The first one was introducing us to 14 characters and the concept of Digimon all at once in half an hour, which was way too much.
Right. This still felt very introductory, but on a narrowed scale.
Yeah, the pace has slowed down so we can get to know the characters a little bit better in this one. It still has a lot of moments like when they first washed up out of the river and we have to wait while every Digimon individually introduces themselves again with their new name.
わいはもちもんからテントモンに
私はピョコモンからピヨモンに
俺はツノモンからガブモンに
私はタネモンからバルモンにそして僕はコロモンからアグモンになったんだ
Right.
It's like, all right. I'm interested now in watching the reboot because they rebooted this in 2020, I think. They remade Digimon Adventure from the beginning.
Okay.
And I'm interested to see if they handle the opening in a better way than this did.
I'm surprised you haven't watched it already.
There's a part of me that doesn't want to because I really love this show.
Right.
So there's always a part of me that's like, I don't know. I don't know if
But do you think it's going to ruin it for you, or you're just not going to be invested in it?
I guess neither. There's the part of me that's like, oh, it's going to ruin the old show. But then, like, intellectually, I'm like, no, it's not. The old show's still here.
Right.
Still just as good. It's already ended, and one of the things I like about it is that it ended.
The old show is still a part of you.
Yeah.
A part of your Digimon code. So when you die and come back as an egg, you'll have 10% of this show still inside you.
I think what a part of it is that I don't know if I'm ready to hear somebody else playing young Taichi because his original voice actor died.
Oh.
And I was sad about that. She was also the voice of Dai in that Dragon Quest show that we watched.
Oh, yeah.
And I really liked her. I thought she was really good for the voice. And I'm sure whoever they've got is great for the new one. But
it's not the same.
Yeah, just not quite ready. But I think I'll watch it. I have heard other people play Tai because Tai has a different adult voice actor in some of the newest, like Teenage Tai in Digimon Adventure Tri has a new voice. And I watched that. They did a movie that's set after Tri that I watched and was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it in a way that I didn't like Tri, and and that has a new voice for Tai as well. It was a really good movie, but so much of the drama is built around this idea of what if the Digimon disappear and they never get to see them again, and it's difficult to invest too highly in that concept when we already know that they will see them again.
Right.
Because we've already seen them together as adults in like other shows. So
I cannot suspend my disbelief.
but it was very dramatic. It was very well put together. I liked it. That's Last Evolution Kizuna for anybody interested. Go watch it. It was good. It was fun. It was sad. It was depressing. It was
I
devastating.
laughed. I cried.
I cried. I did cry. I actually did cry at it. It was good. Anyway, we need to talk about the dub, Mel.
Do it.
I'm going to warn you in advance. I got 2 whole pages of dub stuff here.
Oh no.
So the dub has had the episode name changed to The Birth of Greymon, which to me really does sound like it would have been a direct translation of the Japanese title,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. It's weird because he's not being born
No, he was there all along.
But, it aired August 21st, 1999, which is more in line with when the episode is set, since, it's a summer show.
Right.
But I wonder if they set up the Japanese version so that the episodes where they actually come back to Tokyo are set during the summer. Because the whole show takes place over the summer. But obviously it aired over a full year, so... so they couldn't air them all during the summer.
Squish it all in one day after the other.
Air them all on one day, it's fine.
The kids will love it.
All of the music from the Japanese version has been ditched and replaced with new music. The new music's fine. The recap music is way more dramatic because in the Japanese version, the music over the recap is just this like calm like violin, I think it is.
子供会のキャンプに参加していた7人は謎の機械に導かれるようにしてデジタルモンスターデジモンが住むファイル島という島にたどり着いていた。だがついてすぐ凶悪
But then the English version is like
Our new friend somehow digivolved into bigger Digimon and scared him off, or so we thought. Talk about your cliffhangers.
That's weird.
It's serious business.
Yeah, I guess so.
Digimon is dangerous.
As we expect, they have littered the show with jokes, which is fine. But like anytime there's silence in the Japanese version, there's jokes in the English version. What I noticed in particular, any wide shots where we're just seeing the characters from the distance, in Japanese they're usually silent, but in the English version there's some new joke put in.
My theory is aliens. They've set these phone booths out as a trap.
If we can find a place that delivers, let's order pizza.
Whatever you get, no anchovies for me.
Waka waka.
They weren't good jokes.
Not the kind of joke that you remember.
No. Just the kind of joke that's there to fill time.
Right.
Gomamon's marching fishes are explained differently. In Japanese, it's very clear that summoning them is his special move.
Mm-hmm.
And like, although, we don't know where they came from, it doesn't really matter. But it's implied that he like created them by using the move.
Mm-hmm.
In the English version, there's no mention of it being a move of his. He's just like, oh yeah, those are some fish I know that just happen to be in the area, so I asked them for a favor. I'm not kidding, that's actually how he puts it.
Those fish are good friends of mine, and I just asked them for a lift.
It's just my buddies, the fish.
Yeah.
They got nothing better to do.
When Takeru asked Patamon if he could change back into Tokomon, in the English version, instead, TK just says that it's cool that he helped Patamon evolve. And then that makes Patamon's unsure expression afterwards a little bit strange. Because, in the Japanese version, he looked unsure because he didn't know if he could change back or not. The part right after that, where Joe is struggling to understand the concept of evolution, has been changed to him being mistrustful of Gomamon, which is kind of a shame.
Oh. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, in the Japanese version, he's just furrowing his brow because he's trying to understand how they evolved. But instead, he's like...
My folks warned me about strangers.
I'm not a stranger, Joe. I'm your friend for life.
What? I saved your life, idiot.
Yeah, these two have a much more standoffish relationship in the English version, which is a shame.
Weird.
In general, the kids are way more antagonistic towards each other in the English version.
Hey, Joe, is there anything you don't complain about?
Which was odd. It's one of those things, when you just watch the English version on its own, you don't notice it so much.
Mm-hmm.
But when you watch the two back to back, it's like, why are they so mean to each other? That whole conversation with Mimi and Palmon where they talk about photosynthesis.
Yeah.
No, guess what they did?
What did they do?
Instead, Mimi's commenting on Palmon's hair, and it makes Palmon feel self-conscious about her appearance.
Oh, girl things.
Palmon, I've been meaning to ask, who does your hair? It's natural. I wake up in the morning like this. Wow, maybe you could let me work with it. Do you think you put too much emphasis on appearance?
I really dislike what they did to Mimi, and for the most part, I don't think this dub is that bad. But what they did to Mimi is a crime that should be punished. Because this is consistent. This isn't like a one-off thing. almost every one of Mimi's lines has been changed to some stereotypical sexist girl talk.
Cool.
It's very regressive, and I don't like it. And it's a shame because I like Mimi.
Yeah.
Mimi's whole thing in Japanese is that she's just kind of naive and innocent, basically. She's just like sheltered. She's a sheltered kid.
Right.
She's not particularly she's girly in the way she dresses, but she doesn't enforce that on anyone else. She isn't always talking about, makeup and hair and yeah.
Nails and shoes.
Yeah. And like in the Japanese version, she is genuinely cute. Like she's a cute kid.
Mm-hmm.
In the English version, I hate her.
Whoa, I wasn't expecting that kind of vitriol.
She's so, I don't know. She's the one, I think, who got the worst end of the deal.
Right.
Of all these kids. None of them are as heavily changed as Mimi is. And I'm sad about it.
It's okay. She's still there in the Japanese one.
I know. It's just this, there's so many people who've only watched the English version who have this perception of Mimi where they're like, oh yeah, she's the girl one. Her only thing is that she's a girl and she constantly talks about hair and makeup and boys.
Right.
And that's so not what she was in the Japanese version. She was much more of a rounded character.
I don't understand. Like, you're there to translate something. Why are you completely redoing it?
I know. Speaking of which, since they were at this point trying to pretend that the kids weren't Japanese, the part where Gomamon asks Joe what Japan is had to be rewritten. So instead, in the English version, he asks him what parents are. Bit more of a dumb thing. Now Digimon don't know what parents are, apparently.
Well, I mean, if you're just kind of an egg and you're out in the wilderness on your own,
I guess.
where do the eggs come from?
I don't know.
Because it sounds like they just are in a cycle of death and rebirth. They don't need parents.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. Maybe later on the Japanese versions don't know what parents are either. I don't remember.
Maybe the Digimon just need to reach nirvana.
Since they've changed Tai and Koshiro's relationship for the English version, when Tai asks for change, he's asking the group in general rather than Izzy specifically, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You would expect that the wacky phone messages would have been new jokes for the English version, since a lot of them sound like the kind of things that the characters just say normally in the English version. But they are actually surprisingly mostly accurate translations of the Japanese messages, which I thought was a surprise.
They kept the nonsense, but they changed all the important stuff.
To nonsense, yeah. Well, that is the one thing that makes these messages stand out, I think, is because in the Japanese version, this is all weird nonsense. But in the English version, it's not that far off from the normal dialogue.
Right.
Something that really stood out to me here is that every time anyone addresses Joe in the English version, either to his face or behind his back, it's an insult. Everyone really hates Joe in the English version of this show. Because in the English version, he's just constantly complaining, and they're all complaining about his complaining.
Right.
It's jarring, though, because in the Japanese version, I don't think anyone insults him even once.
No.
When they're talking about, like, when he's wasting time with the phones, and they're talking about him doing that, they don't even talk about him negatively. They just comment on how persistent he is, which is, they say it quite neutrally.
Yeah.
But the English version, they really like to rag on Joe.
This dumb idiot loser Joe.
Yeah. When they remember their Digivices, remember that part where Mimi looks at hers and she says, oh yeah, I attached mine to my bag strap.
Yeah.
In the English version, instead, she says,
If anybody's got a pink one, I'll trade.
No.
It's every one of her lines, I swear.
It's so unnecessary.
The part with Takeru and Mimi and then Taichi and Koshiro talking about Takeru that whole part had to be completely rewritten because the kids already know that Matt and TK are brothers in the English version. So when Mimi asks who Takeru is, that's changed to her trying to manipulate TK into sharing his candy with her by being cute to him. Then when TK explains who he is, that's been changed to him talking about how cute Mimi is to Matt.
Okay.
And then
Weird.
when Taichi and Koshiro wondered if they were cousins, instead they're just muttering about how hungry they are in the background.
Why don't you be a good little boy and share those treats with dear sweet Mimi? Aw, you don't have to be so nice, Mimi. I'm happy to share. You're the best. Isn't she cute?
Forget it. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse.
I'd settle for a small cow.
When Sora asks what's in Mimi's bag, they added an extra little bit where she speculates that it's full of makeup and hairbrushes.
Mimi, what have you got in that big bag? Some hairbrushes and makeup?
Oh, what a girl.
And since in the English version, earlier on in the episode, they had added extra dialogue about them not having a compass.
Mm-hmm.
So now when Mimi pulls out her compass, rather than go back and rewrite that earlier scene, they instead had to add dialogue here calling her out for not volunteering it when they needed it.
They could have just said she forgot it.
Well, they added a line. So the part where she explains that she borrowed her dad's camping gear, that's gone. She doesn't explain why she has this now.
Okay.
Instead, she gives 2 excuses for not volunteering the compass when they needed it.
I thought it might be kind of fun to see how far we could get without one. Besides, it's broken.
It only points south for some reason.
Yeah, in the Japanese version, it's not broken. I can't remember if they ever actually use this compass in the show, but it will be sure awkward if they do.
It sure would.
I do think... So obviously, like, to fit in these jokes, they've had to cut the explanation for why she had this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the English version just doesn't explain why she has it at all. But I do think that's kind of funny to just not explain why she has all this survival gear.
True.
She just has it.
But we didn't... Yeah, we got the worst of both worlds.
That's true. You know the part when Joe says that Mimi was supposed to be the one carrying the food bag?
Mm-hmm.
In Japanese, when he says that, Palmon tells Mimi that Joe's talking about her because Mimi was spacing out and wasn't listening.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she's like, hey, they're talking about you. And then Mimi's like, huh? What? Which is, it's a very short moment, but it's cute. I like it.
Very relatable.
In the English version, instead, Palmon says that she thinks Joe has a crush on Mimi. And then Mimi says, no way!
That disgusting loser Joe likes you.
This is the beginning of the dub inserting many Joe and Mimi shipping moments that don't exist at all in the original. To the point that in the movie, there's a heart-shaped nameplate on Mimi's family door that just says the family name on it.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason in the English version, when they were like painting over it, instead of putting Mimi's family name on there, they turned it into a Valentine from Joe that he had stuck to her door for some reason.
No!
I don't know why. It's so weird.
It's very bizarre.
There's no shipping between any of these characters in the Japanese version, I don't think. Not in this series, at least.
Right.
Like, in some of the later series, as they get older and become teenagers, then there does start to be some, like, romance between some of them, but...
when it starts to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, but here in original Digimon Adventure, when they're middle schoolers, there's no hint of romance at all.
Just thinking about it now, like, I can tell by the way that Joe is hammering the buttons on that telephone that he's got a crush on you.
I can tell by the way he's yelling about how it's your turn to carry the food.
The way he's swinging around the rations angrily.
They took out Braveheart, obviously. We should expect that.
Rude.
It's just kind of got general background music to the theme of the English version of the show.
What's going on? Agumon! Digivolve to Greymon!
I do like the English theme. I just don't like it as much.
Yeah.
The one part of the dub that did make me laugh out loud is when Tai gets tossed by Shellmon, and they added a bunch of cartoon bonk sound effects when he hits the ground. It's really silly.
So laughing for not quite the right reasons.
Yeah. Greymon's a lot more confident in the English version. He spends most of the fight just kind of chuckling to himself. Which was weird.
Yeah. So there's absolutely no tension because we know he's gonna win.
Yeah. Mega Flame got renamed even though it's in English.
Right?
In the English version, it's called Diginova Blast.
Diginova Blast!
Yeah, in later episodes, they drop the Digi part and they just call it Nova Blast. No,
That's still so, like, needlessly edgy.
yeah, Nova Blast is like, it's fine as a name, but like Mega Flame was also fine and it was in English.
Right.
I don't know why they needed to change it. They did the same thing. I'm more understanding of them changing Agumon's one, because Agumon's attack is called Baby Flame. And I can see the English writers being like, that sounds too much like baby.
He is a baby.
I know. But so they changed that to Pepper Breath. And I kind of like Pepper Breath as a name for
It's cute.
Yeah. But like they did the same thing. The baby Digimon aren't called baby Digimon in English. They're called in training Digimon.
Oh, right. You told me that before.
Yeah. The child Digimon are called rookie Digimon. The adult Digimon are called champion Digimon. They did a lot to like try and make it sound more edgy.
American children don't want babies.
This is like it's already punk Pokemon though. Like how much edgier do you need to make it?
Turn the edginess up to 11, please.
This dial starts at 11.
Well, then keep twisting.
At the end, in the Japanese version, when Koshiro said that they should look for the humans who put the phone booths there, everybody, including Joe, agreed that it was a good idea, right? In fact, I think Joe was the first one to say it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
In the English version, Joe explicitly disagrees with it.
So I think it makes good sense to try and find those people.
That makes sense.
It certainly does.
Well, now they have to find a reason for everyone to hate Joe.
I don't know why they injected so much animosity into this group.
I don't know.
Like, it's not like they never argue in the Japanese version, but it's so much arguing and so much insulting each other in the English version. It's weird.
It just kind of makes me think of the fact that, like, the Great British Baking Show got so popular over here because America isn't used to wholesome reality shows.
Yeah.
Everything is drama and angst up to 15.
Well, remember when we watched Gordon Ramsay? We watched the American version of the show and then we watched the English version of the show.
Yes.
And the English version is so calm. He, like, never raises his voice.
And in America, he's just screaming constantly.
Well, I guess we're done.
There was no legacy.
Oh, well, yeah, there's legacy, but I feel like we probably talked about most of it last time. Eventually, there was a game that, like, adapted all the events of this show. I want to say it was on the PSP, and I don't think it ever got translated into English. So that was a big disappointment for me because I wanted to play it. But there will have been a part of the game based on this episode. Yeah, 2013 role-playing video game developed by Prope. Yuji Naka's studio.
Oh.
We found our connection to Sonic in this episode.
Damn it, Sonic the Hedgehog.
This is all because you asked about the legacy.
Stop trying to blame it on me. You know, if you weren't the one that said this is the Sonic the Hedgehog studio, I would have been none the wiser.
I mean, it's not the Sonic the Hedgehog studio. It's just the studio owned by the guy who created Sonic the Hedgehog.
See, that's such a tangential relation. I never would have known that. It's you. It's your fault.
Well, he's in jail, I think. So, whatever.
So is Sonic the Hedgehog. Goodbye.
I wonder, we should check that before I confidently say it, right? Yuji Naka, are you in jail?
What?
Okay, so he's been given a sentence of 2 years and 6 months in prison, suspended for 4 years. So I guess he's not in jail yet, but he's going.
Cool.
Following the charges, this is the part I laughed at. Following the charges, Naka did not make any public statements for 16 months. In April 2024, he ended his social media hiatus to respond to the news that Yu Miyake, Dragon Quest's executive producer, was being reassigned to Square Enix's mobile division by accusing him of lying during the trial.
So dramatic.
I just love that he didn't post for 16 months and then he just came out to be like, yeah, that guy lied in my trial.
That damn dirty dog.
He's being moved to the mobile division. He lied in my trial.
Congratulations, liar.
All right. I don't think there's anything left to say.
No, I think we've well and truly done it.
You know what I'm doing right now. Thanks for joining us, everybody. What?
I figured out what you're doing right now. You're checking to see who our patrons are.
Yeah. Thank you to Jamie Core and Mark Kelly, our favorite patrons and only patrons, but also favorite.
But mostly favorite.
If you would like to join them in the list of names that I just said, go to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub and get yourself some access to some outtakes from our show. We do a lot of those. Sometimes we say things that aren't good enough.
Sometimes we spend more than half of the episode completely off topic.
Sometimes we say things that are too good.
That's never once been true.
Hey, there's a couple things that were too hot for the regular show.
You talking about the Frogger episode?
I'm talking about a lot of things. Coffee.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub also is a website you could go to.
I liked it. I like this song.
Thanks. I didn't plan anything.
I know that about you.
What else? That might be it. Come to my Blue Sky, Skull Pirate Mike, that's me. You can follow me there for updates whenever the show is late. If it's Saturday and there's no show, come to Blue Sky and find out what happened.
Come to Blue Sky and demand answers.
There's a Discord. We talk about it in the Discord sometimes. Look, there's no easy way to send you there from here. I'm not reading out the code. It's a lot of jumble of numbers. I can't pronounce this.
What if you could open your mouth and make a sound and all it does is... End of sentence.
It's like a dial-up modem noise. It's like an audio QR code.
Yeah, and then it just opens somebody's browser and sends an invite to the Discord.
Just hold your phone up to this noise. Did it take you somewhere? What happened?
Oh, that's the wrong Discord.
Oh.
Sorry, let me try again.
Bye.
Why do people pay money for this?
It's only 2 people.